Okay guys, today we're talking about how do we start to load different tissues so that we can get that to kind of calm down, so when we start our day, end our day, or start our activities, we don't have these tissues that can't handle starting off cold, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about today specifically the Achilles tendon and a quick drill that we can do to start to get that to accept some of the load that we want to do in different positions. The reason why we want to cue this in is because ultimately our tissue should be able to go from 0 to 100 without needing to warm up, right? Great saying from Dr. Kelly Starrett, right? Do leopards stretch? No, they're always kind of ready. They can, at a drop of a hat, sprint off. Think of a gazelle, think of any other animal species. So with us, why do we need to necessarily warm up? It's because our tissues aren't at the capacity where they can take that load and fully be at their full capacity. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get a chair, we're gonna do an elevated style lunge here, but focusing on that back leg. So where I wanna be is I want foot up on my chair, my box, whatever I have. This can be the couch. We just want it to be stable. It shouldn't be rocking and rolling anywhere. It shouldn't be sliding around. We want that knee to be right above that ankle, and so whether or not I have my leg far back, I don't want to be dumping into my low back, right? This is not a proper lunge. Nice and controlled. We have that glute squeezed nice and tight, so I'm in a really strong, powerful position here. So I'm holding tight, but we're going to focus on the ankle down here as well. So as I'm in this position, you can see that I'm in a pretty deep, what is called dorsiflexion. Imagine my toes going up towards my shin. This motion is putting a decent amount of stretch on my Achilles tendon. So this is in the eccentric or lengthened position. So from here, what I'm gonna imagine is I'm gonna imagine taking that back to neutral now, right? If we look at where my ankle is, it'd be the same as standing straight up. But since it's behind me, I need to get up on those toes just a little bit, and that is now at that neutral position. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna oscillate. We're just gonna kind of go all the way to the top and drop all the way back down. So from here, what I will do is press up, so I'm getting maximum amount of that toe pushing down, that plantar flexion, if you will. Getting a nice contraction here, holding here, slow letting back to neutral, and then I can drop back down, right? So now we're getting this full length where I'm getting the full stretch and the full contraction. I'm here again, nice and strong in the pelvis and the core. Contract, contract, down, down. We're getting a double whammy here because I'm getting good hip mobility up here, up on this elevated leg, and the same thing can be said about this ankle. If I push forward, you can see that I'm starting to get some dorsiflexion, or again, those toes coming up towards my shin on this leg. So it's a little bit of a double whammy where we're doing a little bit of a seesaw. So I'm here, nice and strong. I press up, I come down. This is a great glute stabilizer as well. Up and down. Switch legs, exact same thing on the other side. Trying to get that knee right over the ankle to start off. I can scooch my foot back just a little bit to make sure that I'm getting a decent amount of stretch in the front of the leg and a good stretch in the Achilles down here. Nice and strong in that core. Good, nice contraction in the glute to neutral. Full contraction. Full relaxation. Neutral up, neutral down. Okay. And the more that I want to load this, I can bring that foot in a little bit more. I'm not going to get as much stretch in that dorsiflexion, but I can come more straight upwards with nice and controlled going down. I can also load myself if I were to hold a kettlebell, a bag, anything to create weight can totally work. But whenever we're talking about these tissues, this may be enough to kind of start getting some things moving and some things grinding. So I would rather you do less weight, more frequency of going through the motions and getting that input into these tissues, rather than, okay, I'm gonna hold 280-pound kettlebells and start going for it, right? That's not what we want to be doing. We want to be getting more time under tension in these tissues. So roughly we want to be doing I would say with this drill, 2 to 3 times a day, 4 or 5 is better. 2 to 3 times a day minimum. Getting about 10 or 15 of these contractions nice and controlled through that entire range of motion. That's going to be a great place to start to get those Achilles, in this specific instance, nice and warmed up. We'll talk about other tissues as we go forward, but this is a great place to start. Play around with it.